Good morning and welcome to Make Your Mark. I'm your host, Michael Carabio. And man, it's the last day of the year. Today, I'm actually recording this episode here at the comfort of my home. And of course, with the end of the year, with reanalyzing everything that has happened in 2025 and moving into the next year. um, I'm sure some of you have done the same. You have audited your goals from 2025, and you've got a plan for 2026. And um, and of course, there are some of you that haven't done that yet, and that's okay. And today isn't about putting pressure on doing so. It's about finding clarity in what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. Because one thing um, became very clear this year. One thing became very clear this year. Being busy isn't the same as building a business, a sustainable long-term business. And so I know that there are a lot of you that have worked extremely hard in 2025. There's been long days, early mornings, late nights, days full of appointments, calendars, meetings, and you're just always on the go. But effort alone didn't create momentum. The difference wasn't the motivation, it was structure. And for those of you who win in 2026 will be the ones who stop leaving their days by chance. So today, this isn't really like a motivational talk. It isn't a um, what you need to do more of next year. It's about just building some great daily habits, great daily disciplines, because real growth doesn't come from goals written once a year. It comes from how you run on an ordinary day. I was listening to one thing that I would like to bring up before we get started is I was listening to a podcast by Jesse Itzler. If you don't know him, I highly encourage you to look him up or even read one of his books. A great book by him is Living with the Seal. And one of the things he said is he doesn't just create new goals every single year. What he does is he creates quarterly good habits. So by the time the year ends, he has four really good habits that he can stick to, and he can really build some great progress and momentum for just growth in general, right? If we just kind of tackle little by little these things little by little, one step at a time, it can really create some massive growth. And so, one of the things that I believe uh, really builds good discipline is following a morning structure. And so, before we, talk about getting to the office and actual business, I want to start here because how you show up at work doesn't really start, at work. It really starts how you start your day before it actually all begins. And so every single morning, um, you should really try and focus on making these three deposits into these three accounts because they really will help you grow. Um, spiritually, mentally, physically, and it'll help you build your confidence. And so the three habits or the three deposits are power deposit, your purpose, and your profits. And when one of those is empty, the day will fill off, right? And so the first deposit that I want you to pour into when you wake up is your power. This is your energy. This is um should be like the first thing of the day, your first movement of the day, which means, find something that you enjoy to get the body moving, whether it's lifting weights, running, walking, stretching, I see a lot of females nowadays doing Pilates. Like, go find something that works within your schedule. It doesn't have to be for aesthetics, for you to look great, it's really to help you feel great, right? For the confidence, because it doesn't magically just show up at your desk or in your business. You really have to earn it. And so, if you don't wake up powerfully, you don't wake up powerfully, you definitely have to earn that. And so the next deposit is your purpose. And so you already know this is where you need to remind yourself who you're serving and why you do this, right? Through your faith. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's gratitude or affirmations, meditation. Find what helps you build your purpose deposit up, because when the day gets busy, and it will, your purpose keeps you grounded and you don't want to lose that. So without purpose, discipline can definitely turn into burnout, and we really want to avoid that. The last deposit is your profits deposit. And this is where I feel like a lot of us in the business can get this wrong. It's not really about making money immediately. It starts with um, the learning, right? How can you deposit into your bank where you invest time into your business and not just work in it? Excuse me. So what does that mean? It's learning new marketing systems. It's improving your follow up. Um, Maybe it's dialing into your CRM, understanding what's working and what's truly not. One of my favorite things in the profits deposit is YouTube University, right? You go on YouTube, there's so much great information out there for people like us in the industry that can really help us navigate how we should do things and how we can build better systems in our business. And so this work doesn't always feel urgent and it doesn't always feel exciting, but this is the work that will create more profit over time. And that's why it's called profits. So don't skip this. Um, I think these three deposits are really important for you to actually grow personally as well. Um, and I promise you, like when you start doing these, right, these deposits over time, they really compound. Your systems get a lot tighter. Your marketing is going to get a lot clearer. Like you're going to know, you're going to have more clarity on what you need to do and how you should do it. And so when you make these deposits first thing in the morning, you don't walk into work hoping to have a good day. You're walking basically prepared to win the day. So that's a really powerful way to start your morning. And I promise you it works. A lot of this information that I'm giving you today is curated and put together by some of the top producing agents that I learned from, and the disciplines and the things that they've built along their daily schedule. So let's talk about the first discipline once you get to work, and it's simple. It's um, show up at the office at the same time every single day. You need to really create real office hours for yourself so that way you're not allowing your clients or people to walk all over you, right? They know when you can be reached or when or they'll know when you will reach out to them. So not whenever I get around to it, not after I check a few things. Real professionals don't drift into their day to day because it could get really hectic, right? They show up on purpose for purpose. And so this will, this consistency will definitely build trust with your clients and most importantly, even with yourself, right? Like you won't feel bad. Just a prime example. Client calls you at 8 p.m. I'm not saying to pick up the phone or to pick up or not to pick up the phone, but if you've set proper expectations, you created that system, you should be okay with being able to feel and understand that you can call them next day at a specific time because you've done this systematically over time. And when you treat this like a real business, clients start treating you like a true professional. So this next block right here is probably the most important of the day, and it's where a lot of people in our industry um, think it's a shortcut, but this is where money can actually be made. And so before you ever talk to a client, you need to know what's happening in your current market today. So not last week, not a month ago. This truly means like you need to be in the MLS. You need to constantly being, you need to know what listings are coming on the market, especially catered to the clients that you're working with, right? You need to know what type of price reductions are happening, interest rates, of course, maybe what's coming back on the market so you know what fell apart and why. You should be knowing maybe what's pending in that specific area. And of course, the deals, what's been sitting for a very long time, and how you can negotiate, some strategies with your buyers with homes that are sitting. So the average agent, I did a little research, but the average agent checks the MLS like once or twice a week. And it's probably to search homes, but they're not realistically getting intentional with the market stats. And I don't know exactly how this feature works, but this past year or two, Armless actually put in um, uh, quick stats or something like that. So that's a great avenue to make sure that you're staying on top of mind. Of course, it doesn't just show you some of the things that we just talked about, but I highly encourage you to be in the MLS, study it, look at it every single day, because the real agents, the top agents do that, and it really makes a difference. And when you know the market, you don't sound unsure when you're talking to your clients. You don't have to over explain or guess. You speak with full clarity, and clients truly feel that immediately. Um, the next phase of what you need to be doing in the office after you've looked at the MLS is you need to work on your communication, because at the end of the day, we are in the business of relationships, but also all your money that you make is made in how you communicate with your clients or prospects. So it's not about, you know, uh, your branding, your logo, like all the systems that you've created. Like most part of it, like 70-80% is how you communicate with your clients and how well you can explain the value. And that is why this part of the morning is about practice, not just preparation. So when you get to the office after you do your research on the MLS, it's really important to, craft out 10, 15, 20 minutes a day that will compound every single day to practice your listing presentation. So you don't go in and wing it. Go practice your buyer consultation. So your leads, um, your leads don't have to question you when you are in those consultations. Practice explaining how the market is. These are things that just over time, I mean, you have to build the reps, and over time, you're going to be able to understand framing objections so nothing catches you off guard when you're talking to a really difficult prospect or a client. So don't wait until you're in front of a client to figure it out. I think it's really important to, and this can be scripting, this could be many different things. I know many agents that script, I know many agents that don't, but at the end of the day, it's really building that repetition for yourself. Um, so quick tips as you rehearse and you practice, even consider recording yourself. Listen to your tone, practice. This is something that you have to earn, but practice your enthusiasm, right? People feel the energy when you're talking to them, and if you're not giving them that excitement, that enthusiasm, it you know, unfortunately, it won't happen, right? So, this means to me like confidence isn't really, it doesn't come natural. It's really built through the practice and repetition that we do every single day. And the agents who communicate clearly obviously get chosen, especially if you're getting if you have a client that is meeting with multiple interviewing multiple agents, you will get picked if you could communicate better. I promise. It's not about the marketing, it's about how you speak to your client. Um, the next thing after you, uh, the next phase after you practice um, your day-to-day scripting and stuff like that, um, we really want to focus on something called power hour. This could be power hours, but this is something that I call it power hour because I think this time of your day needs to be blocked. And this is where a lot of the money making activities, producing leads, and everything really matter. And this is what separates, top producers to just normal producers. But what you really need to know is you really need to understand what your daily number of who you need to reach out to every day. You need to know how many real conversations it takes to get to one appointment. So this is not referring to the social media aspect because at the end of the day, those can be solid leads, but it's about how many phone calls do I need to make? Not the likes, not the comments. It's hard conversations that you're going to have to get appointments. So for some of us, that could be many, but let's just say um, maybe it's 10, and 10 is probably bare minimum, but I would say 15, 20 conversations, even more if you want to up the ante. But these need to be conversations that you are having on the phone. Make it a power hour. And this is to the point where you don't have to guess it, you're able to track it. And so this is where you could track these calls and everything that is going on in your CRM. Because when you know your number, your business becomes more predictable and you're not guessing where that next qualified buyer or that next listing appointment is going to come from. It's coming from the amount of conversations that you are having. So on top of making your calls, this is a great opportunity as well for you to not just make calls, but maybe you don't have nobody to call, right? This is where you kind of transition and uh, you go down the list of direct messages. Maybe you're heavy on social media. Maybe you're reaching out to past clients. You're just following up and just checking in on them. You're maybe doing some research on a past client. Maybe, it's the new year, gives you a great reason to reach out to them. Maybe someone's birthday just passed, give them a call. These are just ways to have more conversations in your day to day. Following up with warm leads, right? That's another one. But here's the rule. Nothing else happens until your number of your daily phone calls you need to make hit. So as we move towards 2026, I challenge you to really find that number of conversations. Like for me, uh, this past year it was about 7 to 10, and I really need to up that ante a little bit more. So I'm really going to focus on 12 to 15. Okay, so that's just a prime example, but making sure you know that number and honestly just have that number in front of you all the time. Make it your favorite number. No emails, no scrolling during this time, no busy work disguised as like being productive. You really need to get on the phone because this is the work that is going to actually fill your calendar. Okay. Um, Everything else in your day will support this, but this is what actually will grow your business. Managing the business. So let's talk about what you need to do when you're managing your business. Okay, so we just worked on the prospecting and the lead generation. Once we have done your power hour, it's really important to spend part of your day, not a big amount of your day, but part of your day that keeps deals moving and protects your income. So this is where a lot of agents lose control of their schedule and they start with this and they focus on um, the showings with their clients and all these things that is going on. But these are things that need to happen later on in the day because these will help you get the deal closed. It'll help you maybe not make your day as chaotic. But these are things that they're already almost done. Like all you need to really focus on at the beginning of the day is creating more income for yourself. So, um, managing the business truly matters. Of course, it gets you paid, but it doesn't create your next lead, your next transaction. So it has to live in the right place in your day. So find that time, maybe, you know, depending on what time you start your day, maybe it's around, 12 o'clock, maybe it's around 11 o'clock or a little bit later. Um, but this looks like, so what is managing your business looks like? It's, putting in some stuff in the CRM. It's reviewing contracts so nothing gets delayed. Preparing your listings to launch or listing appointments, right? Getting everything ready so that way you're able to set those expectations up front with your clients. It's managing new escrows so timelines are understood. Um, Handling inspections. What else? Maybe it's you're opening up escrow. You need to communicate with title and escrow and lenders. So everything earnest money and all that stuff gets deposited. Um, at the end of the day, it's really just tracking every single deadline so that stuff doesn't fall apart. That's what all this managing the business is. And the distinction is this work is ultimately going to protect your business, but it doesn't grow it. So this is why you don't let this work bleed into your entire day, because I see many of us do it. I'm guilty as charged because obviously, um, you know, we want to make our clients happy. We want to give them that experience, but not everything is as urgent as it seems. And if we could create that better system for our business, we will reap the benefit of it. So making sure that um, with managing your business, you batch it, you give it a time block and you handle it intentionally, right? Like that hour or two of managing, like you make sure you get it done in that timeline or you get it done sooner, or it bleeds into the next day because it's not that much of a priority, but you should realistically know in your deals which one is urgent compared to, you know, maybe the last fourth escrow that you have. So making sure you do that so your income doesn't plateau. You don't manage the business to grow it, you manage it to protect it. Sorry, these are just some notes that I have. And then the last part of your day is or should be your appointments or your showings, right? And this is where all the work that you did at the beginning of the day, all the work that you've done to create a better person, a better business owner, this is where it all pays off, right? It's from you showing up. So what does it look like? It's creating those appointments with your listings, your buyer consultations, maybe it's dealing with some negotiations. This isn't where you figure things out. This is where you need to execute and get the escrow, right? Because you've already done all the work. You know the market. You know the numbers. It's all about how you can better frame the conversation up and making sure that your clients are getting into escrow. Um, and if all this is done right, I feel like there's a a certainty that you'll have where you'll walk into appointments, you'll feel more calm, you'll feel more prepared. Things will be more controlled and in your favor, and you won't have to be so reactive. And so the truth is, appointments don't create momentum, they reveal the momentum. And so your results at appointments are a direct reflection of how well you've prepared earlier on in your day to day. And as we move into 2026, um, obviously, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So some things have to eventually stop. It's you stopping and reacting to your busy day to and understanding what's more priority. It's you stopping checking emails constantly because we all do it. It's you stopping to take every single call immediately, and it's you stopping winging appointments. Okay, it's you being better prepared. There's this saying, um, proper preparation prevents poor performance. It's the 5 P's, and the more you are prepared, the better your business will prosper. Winners don't have more time, they have more structures. And the structure that I'm seeing a lot of people in our industry that produce at a very high level, it allows them to create more freedom for themselves, right? They're 10 times busier than a normal agent that has been in the business and doing a few deals a month, or yeah, a few deals a month. But it allows them to you know, hire. It allows them to build a team, to have a TC, to have these systems where everything is allows them to be kind of away from the business and do more stuff. The preparation will build confidence and the discipline will reduce more stress, I promise. Because when we don't have a system, it feels like you're all over the place, but at the end of the day, it's all about finding what works for you. And this was just everything that I talked about today is just a little example of what I see. Like I said, some of the top producers uh, are doing on top of, shooting content or doing social media marketing. There's a lot, right? There's a lot of different avenues, but I think this structure of discipline for your day to day can really make a huge difference if you stick to it in 2026. So I'm going to close with this. As we step into a new year, don't focus on doing more, right? Like I said, those habits, like just create one or two habits for the quarter and get so good at it to the point where it just transitions into the next quarter, right? Focus on doing what actually moves the needle in your business consistently. And I highly recommend, if you haven't done so already, read the 12-week year. That's a great uh, business planning for 12 weeks, 90 days to basically cram a year's worth of goals into your business. That's something that even our team that's even something that our team uses because it works. And so um, recommend you do that. But with that being said, I just want to say thank you for finishing the year strong with me today on Make Your Mark. It's been an honor to be able to continue hosting this webinar for Landmark, and I'm really excited to bring on some more uh, great guest speakers. I was just texting one of them this morning. I actually wonder if he's on the call real quick. Real quick, real quick. Ah, he's not on the call. It's okay. But trying to just bring on some more guest speakers, also maybe some different educational things. I would love to hear your feedback. You can text me, call me, or shoot me an email. But with that being said, from my family to your family and our team here at Landmark Title, we wish you a very healthy, successful, and productive new year. Hope you have a great new year tonight. Be safe and let's make 2026 a great one and your best year yet. Goodbye now.